There we go. Alright, so round 2, back again with the Garberg. Let's use that as a bit of a base. So after all that practice getting better with just natural materials, the big fluffy pieces of the old man's beard did help after all. I just need a lot more of that tinder bark for sure. So I really like this kind of just cross shoulder carry and adding on that leather belt loop strap. That's a nice addition, and it just sits behind on the multi-mount sheath, so adds a little bit extra security as well, instead of just having to wrap duct tape. See, look at that. So you know we don't have like cattails up in the Yukon, and from the White Horse area, birch is very hard to find. So if you can find birch, you just grab hold of it and you keep it as dear to your heart as you can. Finding a mega dry piece like this is godsend, pretty much. Just gonna see what I can get off here. You know, and just look at the south facing hillsides and you'll find lots of, you know, super dead bone dry trees, and that's pretty much one thing you can do if you can't get a dry grass. We had record snowfall this year, so getting dry grass for fire starting is pretty much a no-go. So yeah, I really like the sharpening they did with this stainless 14C28N. That sharpened spine is, wow, that's really good. I can actually get fuzz sticks, like really good fuzz pieces off this dried tree. Maybe enough that I can actually start a wee fire with it with just a ferro rod and this stuff. Let's see. Now let's just try and scrape that. Ooh, it's a pretty sappy piece. I think I pretty much got the micro bevel off this thing by now, but it's still going really strong. I'm gonna put some of that powder in my palms here. See, that's one way you can make some fire dust. You find a punky piece like that, and then just keep scraping away at it. It's gonna go in my pocket. So that worked. Just all that natural, dry, fluffy stuff from the dead trees. So look for like dead poplars on south-facing hills in the Yukon, and then you're good to go. So yeah. First actual successful fire starting without bringing in tinder or finding birch bark or dry grass. So practice, guys. Keep honing your skills. Like, just look at how dry and fluffy that piece is. Mix of dead, some dead pine, but that dead poplar was super punky, and that really helped. So here's a overall look on the Mora Garberg stainless with the multi-mount sheath. So it's a fairly attractive blade. You got that classic scandi bevel. It's pretty big. I'd say that's maybe 5 millimeters or so of that scandi bevel. This one does still have the micro bevel on that scandi grind. The main thing I kind of first noticed is that small difference in size compared to the Mora bushcraft. You do actually have a bit more cutting surface. It's hard to see on camera, but the blade length is a smidgen bit bigger on the bushcraft, and the blade goes all the way to the termination on the handle. And the main difference between not just the handle but the blade is that the Garberg is just a tiny bit taller, and you know, you've got this kind of downward curve handle on the Mora bushcraft and this straight barrel handle on the Garberg. So kind of a difference in ergonomics there, but not a huge deal either way. Let's talk about the sheath first. I really like the idea of the multi-mount sheath. You know, you got all these different, you know, you've got drill holes there. So you could drill it onto, say, a control panel or something near on a boat. You've got these slots that I slid this belt through. You could use zip ties and attach it to pretty much anything, you know, ATV, snowmobile, fat bike, mountain bike, etc. I've just been carrying it cross draw, horizontal, you know, actually on the 1 o'clock position on my belt, like right front and center, and it's extremely comfortable to carry. I would say over time that the Mora sheaths, they do loosen up a tiny bit, so I wouldn't trust it completely horizontally, whatnot, without that secondary clasp that it comes with. So that's just something to watch out for in the future. I would keep it, you know, vertically mounted preferably, but it has great retention. You know, you could stick it in left or right, and it does have a drain hole, etc. Let's go over the specs of the blade. So you do have a pretty good cutting surface. You got 4.25 inch blade but that's not including this kind of unsharpened portion. I don't know why they changed that you know, that manufacturing process where they just run it all the way through, so you get a little bit more cutting length, and there's no forge oil or anything. You do have this guard here, and you know, you can choke up a little bit, and if you're wearing gloves, it's great, but not totally ideal. You got that really thick, sharpened spine, same thickness as the bushcraft, etc. You got like 3.5 mils there. Overall length is 9 inches. It's a Sandvik 14C 28N. So it's a very different formulation compared to Mora's 12C 27. So far, I can say it is spectacular. It's good stuff. I'll look up again what the difference on that steel will be between the two, but I think it's just from what I've used so far, it performs pretty much the same. Great toughness, easy resharpenability, really, really good stain resistance. I cleaned this up after batoning and beating it up. I just need to clean a little bit more near the hilt, but it looks basically like new again. Trying to see if you can see that grain finish on the steel with the camera, but not really. There's no big dings or chips on that micro bevel, so that's really nice to see. You got this kind of modified spear drop point style blade, really strong. You do have a nice smashing pommel on the back here, and it's sharpened all the way along the bottom, so you can use this as a really effective scraper for your ferro rod or bark or etc. Just like the cans bowl, you've got a lanyard hole, and you do have this really hard core of a harder polymer and a tiny bit of a softer polymer on the outside, but I can tell you right away it's not nearly as soft as you would find on the, I think, Kraton material on the Falcon even, and it's not nearly as soft or as comfortable as this Mora bushcraft. So I think that kind of knocks away a point. Like when you saw me trying to push cut through that tree, I was hitting a really bad hot spot, and that's just not a good thing. You want your knife to be comfortable, and it was at the point it was actually hurting, so I had to modify the grip, like really choke it up a lot, and you know, keep moving it around just to have a comfortable grip while cutting through on that knife. I mean, on that piece of wood with the knife. You know, I would like to try the carbon steel model with the leather sheath. These are going for around 120 Canadian. And I would just say, you know, you guys watch a channel for a long time if you're still with me. You would say that I would just choose the bushcraft over the Garberg. I'm not negating the Garberg. It's a great knife. I just think it's trying to be this this bridge between, you know, this is like high-end Mora. Definitely, it's a lot more insurance than, say, a Mora Companion, etc. But I think it's trying to be one of these. Like, it's trying to be a Falcon even S1. You know, same idea. You got this straighter handle, big blade, extended pommel out the back, stainless steel, so you don't have to worry about cleaning it too much out in the bush, etc. And it's a great option for sure if you want to spend the money for that extra insurance for the tang. Yeah, go for it. But I think most of your needs will be firmly set with a Mora Companion HD or even a Mora bushcraft. It's kind of like this weird Goldilocks zone where you think this one would be perfect because it's, you know, it's in between both of these, but it's actually kind of not. I'd either say actually to save the money, get yourself a bushcraft, or spend a little bit more and get a highly more refined Falcon even, S1 that is. That's all I have to say for now. Those are kind of the initial impressions after the testing and use of the blade. Batoning at first was iffy. I'm not sure what was going on. It was probably just my baton, and the pieces of wood I've chosen were not ideal. But, you know, if you got the straighter, better pieces, and it performed just fine. So, again, if you must have the Garberg in your collection, I don't think you would be heavily disappointed. I'd say this is pretty much presumed to be a backup knife. You know, I go with the Falcon even, the bushcraft, or, you know, Tops Fieldcraft primarily. But this is something, you know, if I'm hiking and going out with a buddy, I can more than confidently toss them this if they don't bring anything with them. And it will feather stick, it'll baton wood, it'll help start your fire, it'll get you out of a pinch, etc. And I know there's no way that they can break this thing, so that's why it's a good kind of loner knife, because, you know, there's no way that they're going to break it unless they're, you know, batoning masonry or trying to pry open a car hood or something stupid like that. And I really do like the overall versatility of the multi-mount sheath. Just quick note, the duct tape there, that's just to help secure it a little bit and reduce a bit of rattle, but it's still good. So, secondary backup knife, it's a 8 out of 10, I'd say. I just really wish they would have gone with a much more comfortable design on the handle. Like, you've seen my review on the Cansbull. I'm not sure what's changed. I can't honestly remember if the Cansbull has a bit of a softer rubber on the outside or not. It just feels a little different. I'm not sure what's going on. But yeah, there was that hot spot near the top here. I do like the guards and the flares at the top and the back, so it's more secure for, you know, stabbing in and pulling out of something. You've got that hook at the back here to lock onto your hand. So if you wear a glove, your hands are protected, but they could have gone with a more comfortable design, I think. So overall, those are my impressions. 8 out of 10. Hope you get the gist of what I'm saying, and take care, guys.